Views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. First show of July. It is July 1st, and it is warm out, so that's always a plus sign. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Down. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And Ty, welcome to July. Oops, that's not our background.
Yeah, it's July. I mean, we're approaching 4th of July weekend. This upcoming week, last show before the 4th of July weekend. And I guess that's also perfect timing and perfect segue to announce that no shows, I believe, for any of us on 4th of July too. So just a slight break. Nothing on Monday, except with the exception of the Scrappers that will be playing at 7 o'clock on night on the network. But Monday is going to be a little bit dark as far as the shows are concerned.
Ty, perfect segue as you bring up the Scrappers who will return home on Monday night. It is Friday, which means we are giving away these four wonderfully, actually not these four, because as we went over last week, these are not a ticket. Not a ticket. So don't try to get any barcodes from these tickets. You'll be sorely mistaken.
We could book your 4th of July though, right here, right now, for at least a 4-pack.
But 4 free tickets that you will be able to get at will call from the Chevy All-Stars box office. If you answer our trivia question today, and Ty, this time around for today, we just want the date that Eastwood Field opened their doors.
We're pretty close to the
day, month, and year where the Eastwood Field opened its doors. If you are the first to comment, or, we put it up on our Twitter as well. So if you are the first to at us on Twitter with the answer, you will get 4 free tickets to the Scrappers, any remaining home game of the 2022 season.
And give a little bit of a hint, we're pretty close to the anniversary date of the opening of Eastwood Field too. So if you do a little bit of research too, I'm sure you could find it.
It won't be that hard. Hopefully someone gets these tickets. Ty, we have Ty Eberhardt on the show today at 12:30. I think you just wanted someone with your same last name to come on.
Yeah, same last name, same first name.
Ty Bartell is actually going to come on the show too.
As much as I wish that was the case, Ty Eberhardt is actually mashing pretty well down there at Bobstein Park and for Nightline, batting an astounding .410 on the season. So he's tearing it up, and we're going to be excited to talk to him as he mans behind the dish a lot for Nightline. So we get to talk to the guy that Ronnie Harper gets to throw to a lot.
I feel like we're just knocking down Nightline's rosters.
And I mean, hey, the Nightline's been very courteous with their time, and they've been wanting to come on too. So we're all about it. We're all about highlighting the Class B players too that won some FaceTime with Running Point for sure.
Absolutely. So he'll be on at 12:30, and as Ty said, there were some 16U scores that came in last night from Bobstein Park. Some very interesting scores, and scores that, once again, like every night in this week, they have shaken up the standings the last week of the regular season in Class B baseball, and these teams are fighting for a lot of positioning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there were some statements made. There were some surprises that we saw last night, and that's about every night we're seeing as the season winds down for both 16 and 18U. And not to mention, too, in 14U, we also saw another championship game that was pretty close, but we had one crown.
We did. The Astro Falcons got the win in that championship. in the 14U, and they beat the Avalanche. Well, 3-1, right? 3 games to
Yep.
1.
In a 5-game series. Yes, sir.
Final score there was 6-2. Astro Falcons got the win.
And it was a nice game for Avalanche to try to be competitive in that one, getting that big Game 3 win. But, I mean, getting that 2-0 lead, it really helped give some cushion to Astro to where they made a little bit of mistakes in Game 3. They corrected them come Game 4, and they know they didn't want Avalanche forcing an elimination game. So they got business done in Game 4 and walked out 14U champs.
Well, the biggest game of the night last night in 16U was Whiting versus Astro, both 14-4, both in first place in their division. And really, like we said, the first place in the 16U division as a whole on the line. Whiting got the 6-3 win, and they bounced back from that loss they had on Tuesday.
Statement made, right? I mean, you finished the season now 2-0 against Astro. And I think that's the statement we were talking about with Whiting losing the games that they dropped and really needing to win now to keep a hold of first place. Avalanche, I mean, they were hot on their tail going into last night. You knew that Whiting needed to get a win. They got a huge win against one of the hottest teams, actually the hottest team in 16U going into last night. They were riding a 9-game winning streak at the time, did Astro.
Avalanche is still on their tail because they got the win as well, 11-7 over Eagleware. So both teams still tied at the top at now 15-4.
Yeah, and of course, credit Eagleware. They gave a great shot, too, 7 runs of offense, but credit more to Avalanche as they were ready and they were prepared, knew that Eagleware, after that win, was going to be riding with a lot of momentum heading into this game, and Avalanche really kind of calmed the storm. They got a 3-run lead off in the top of the second. Eagleware tried to respond with a run in the bottom of the second, but then Avalanche, again, they're known for their big innings. A 5 spot in the top of the third made it 8-1, and Eagleware was kind of playing catch up, but they never really could catch Avalanche. They kept on adding runs late, 3 more in the 6th by Avalanche, and that's how you win baseball games too, especially offensively with teams that are trying to chip away. If you're able to get that offense in later innings too and just keep on adding on, it becomes a lot tougher for comebacks to happen.
Ty, I know I said normally that the one big inning is not as effective as the scoring that is trickled across the board, but Dura Edge kind of broke that mold last night. They had one big inning, and it was the third, a 6-run third. That's all they really needed because they had 6 runs then. They scored 1 run the rest of the game, but they still won 7-4, despite their opponent being able to put one in the score, and I think 4 different innings, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3.
3, yeah. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th and 1 in the bottom of the 6th. And actually, you're right, Ann. Since the top of the 3rd, they outscored Dura Edge 3-0 did Athletics. But it was really a case of Dura Edge pitching bent, but they did not break in this one. And you got to really credit the 2 pitchers in Charlie Young and Parker Dobson. Young going 4 innings, Dobson going 3, both pitching heck of a games. Young only allowing a hit. Dobson allowed 2. 3 walks for Young, 4 for Dobson, but really good pitching that we saw too. 11 strikeouts combined for those pitchers as well. So, I mean, they were really getting it done on the mound, and that tag team duo Dura Edge brought together really showcased a lot of grit, grind, and tenacity out there on the mound to get the win.
A couple of Ethans had 1 hit apiece, but they were big hits. Ethan Adams went 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs. And then Ethan Fiesel went 1 for 3, and he had a pair of RBI. So 5 RBI on just 2 hits between those. But sometimes the quality of the hit is more than the quantity.
Yeah, and Ethan Adams getting that big 3 RBI double, a bases clearing double that really helps propel some offense. And that, of course, happened back in the 3rd inning. And, of course, you saw that it really propelled itself, too, with Fiesel getting an 2 RBI single, but that's 5 runs of the 6 for Dura Edge that came in that 3rd inning, and really those timely hits paid off for them in the end.
And I hope I am saying Angelo's last name right, Fatchett. He was perfect at the plate for Dura Edge. He went 2 for 2 with an RBI. He was the only hitter into Dura Edge's offense with multiple hits. Everyone else held to just 1, but the hits were spread out pretty evenly.
Yeah, and I mean, you see that too, and that's what you love to see from offense is, I mean, production up and down the lineup.
Charlie Young pitched 4 innings of good baseball. He only gave up 1 run on 1 hit. He struck out 6, and it looks like Parker Dobson was the one that was credited with the win for his 3 innings of work, giving up 3 runs on 2 hits and striking out 5.
Yeah, really looked good. Really looked good. That tag team duo did.
For Athletics, their offense came from Joe A, who went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Let's see, Luke Rowan had an RBI for the team, and Dylan Casey went 1 for 3 to round out their hits. Their pitching wasn't bad. Matt K, he got the loss, but he pitched really good baseball. He threw 4 innings and he gave up 3 hits and struck out a pair.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you need sometimes, right? But sometimes it just doesn't pay off for you offensively. You don't get enough runs of support, even though you could throw a quality start out there. That's why we say often that this sport can be fickle.
Nightline, they got the win last night despite a rally on the prospects end from the bottom of the 7th inning. Aiden Thompson had a good day for the Nightline team. He went 3 for 3. Let's see who else had a good day for Nightline. I think Freddie Bolchek went 2 for 3. A couple RBIs for him. Nightline scored on 9 runs and 15 hits and finished with 8 RBI as a team.
We also got to, of course, talk about Andrew Brown, another 4 for 4 day for this young man. He had a double including in that too. So you get 4 hits at the plate. You're doing some work, and 15 hits for Nightline bats overall. That is offense that is alive, awake, and enthusiastic.
Bolchek also pitched really well, even to go along with his good offensive day. He pitched 6 innings and gave up only 1 earned run and 2 hits. He finished with 8 strikeouts as well. So not only did he hit well, but he also pitched well.
Freddie Bolchak, too, is a name you hear a lot, I believe, over at Warren JFK. And, I mean, he's another one of those great pitchers that have come from the Eagles teams, too. So you could see him on full display again at Bobstein Park showing what he's got.
Creekside's offense was absolutely on a tear last night. They won 14-2 over a Ballistic team that was fighting for position in that standings. They were sitting right there in those couple teams that were fighting for a spot. So Creekside flexed their muscles. They win 14-2.
And, I mean, being efficient, too, they were pissed. 14 runs on 14 hits. That's efficiency at its finest. But how about this, too, Ant, with Creekside? The middle of the order, and that goes from 5 the 5-hitter down, didn't get a base hit. It really started bottom of the order, and it looks like it's they were batting a decent amount in this lineup. I think a 10-man lineup, but it looks like 6 through 10 and then 1 through 4 getting all the hits too, and a lot of multiple hit days we've seen. But
yeah, let's shout them out. I mean, Tyson Terajak had a big day. Aaron Doty had a big day, and so did Tommy Smith. Terajak went 3 for 3. Doty went 2 for 3, and Smith went 2 for 4.
And you see that too. And Aaron Doty had 2 doubles on the day as well. Terajak with 1. Smith had a triple. And I mean, just a great day all around from Creekside offense. They were getting upset about the games they've been dropping in recent days.
14 runs, 14 hits. They drew 2 walks and had 9 combined RBIs as a team.
Nice win for them too, to kind of keep themselves in pace in that Livy division.
On a timeout, this is something that's always bugged me when I'm talking about baseball. Do you say RBIs or do you say RBI? Because it sounds weird to say 9 RBI, but it's runs batting in, so it technically grammatically should be RBI, but it just feels so weird.
I always say RBIs. I'll just say he got 7 RBIs on the ball game. Like,
I know, like I just want to know where you stood on that, because grammatically it shouldn't, because it's already runs batting in.
There's a select few people that'll just call them ribbies too. You ever hear the ribby?
Yeah, there are some people that just call them they got a steak right there.
Yeah, 3 ribbies, 3 steaks.
That's a steak.
Steak, good old steak.
You can just go the old school way and say runs batting in, but no one wants to do that. We all want to shorten everything.
Yeah,
but I just want, that was something that I just read it and I was like, wait, I don't know if I should say RBI or RBIs. I don't know.
Well, we went over the 16U scores, but I mean, the standings have certainly gotten a lot more interesting as we're starting to wind down as far as games left in the season for 16U.
Just want to give a shout out to Michael Daly and Donovan Bell Sullivan, who had good days at the plate for Ballistic. They both went 1 for 2. Actually, Daly went 1 for 2. Sullivan went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Daly went 1 for 2 on the day with a walk. Ballistic scored 2 runs on 4 hits. 2 RBIs on the day and 5 walks drawn as a team.
That's It's what you love to see. That's just efficiency and getting on base and getting traffic for the big bats.
Yeah, what changes came in the standings of 16U?
Well, not a whole lot. There's still, I mean, obviously, Astro have locked up that Hernandez division. Nightline's taken over a tie for second place now, but Astro has it firmly in grasp, 14-5 on the season. Whiting and Avalanche tied at 15-4, and they are deadlocked for the lead in this one. And how about this one too? And we got a big game that's going to be coming up here in Sunday night, I believe, is when they go up against each other another time. Let me double check on that though. I just want to make sure. Yeah, Whiting and Avalanche on Scene 3, 11:30 a.m. on Sunday, but they do both play Saturday as well. Does the Avalanche plays Ballistic, Whiting plays Creekside, and Creekside, you know, they're hungry as well. They're sitting right there below both Avalanche and Whiting at 13-6, 2 games back of the leaders. So, you know, if they get a win, they're going to throw a wrench in this whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, they love throwing wrenches, right? That's like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge the ball, right?
The ideal thing would be Creekside beats Whiting, then Whiting beats Avalanche, and then you just got to hope for maybe some help if you're Creekside. Then you need them to drop another game somewhere, right?
That would be ideal from a certain perspective.
Yeah, for
not every perspective.
No, not for Whiting, certainly. And Whiting really made a statement in beating Astro now, because that was a game. If you were Avalanche, you're kind of looking at that, I think, and licking your chops, right? Because you see you have Eagleware, who, yes, they got the big win against Whiting on the season, but still 1-17. They're sitting in last in 16U. And then you see Whiting has to go up against the winners of the Hernandez division, the team on a 9-game winning streak. Avalanche, you got to figure, and I mean, you won't say this for all players, but you got to figure it might have been in the back of their mind that they thought after last night, we might be leading the Livy division.
Right. And it didn't happen.
No, it didn't. And I think Whiting winning that game really made a statement.
They had to win that game, because when Whiting, I mean, Avalanche had to win their game, because if Whiting would have beaten Astro and Avalanche dropped one to Eagleware, that would have been a huge blow for the sales of momentum.
I think right now it just opens the eyes of Avalanche, if anything, because they know Whiting's serious about winning this division, and they know it's going to be a dogfight to a finish, and how important this game Sunday is going to be. Both teams just cannot overlook the competition, because both Ballistic and Creekside very capable of beating Whiting and Avalanche tonight.
Especially, I mean, Creekside's coming off a game where they went, they won 14-2. Their offense definitely feeling it right now.
Oh, no doubt they're feeling it right now. And of course, we know Ballistic has showcased before that they can put up a generous amount of runs as well. This is going to be tough matchups inside the division for both of these teams as well. And I think, interestingly enough, when we look at what Avalanche has done, I'm curious on just seeing, too, I want to look back at their last 2 Ballistic scores, because these teams are really close a lot of the time. So right now, actually, advantage Avalanche, a 17-2 win against Ballistic May 28th, and then they beat them 9-4 June 14th. So 2-0 on the season, but you know Ballistic competitors are competitors. They don't want to be swept 3-0 on the season, so they're going to bring a game into that one.
No, and the thing is, you got 2 more days, right? You got Saturday and Sunday, and who's going to bring their best. Obviously, tonight is 18U night. We'll talk about that coming up, as well as more talk about 16U, because there's going to be a lot of the weekend. And when we come back on Tuesday, playoffs are going to be decided, right?
I think
the regular season is over on Sunday, and we're going to have standings complete and playoffs decided on Tuesday when we come back.
Here's the big thing to watch too, Ed. Every single team in 16U plays a doubleheader on Sunday. So this Livy division might get wrapped up in game 2, right? So game 1 for both Avalanche and Whiting is against each other at 11:30, but Avalanche still has to play Prospects and Whiting still has to play Ballistic. And if your Prospects are Ballistic and you know that a division's hanging in the balance for one of these teams, you want to do nothing but spoil that for one of those teams and just knock them out of the tournament completely. So a lot of these teams are going to be wanting to play spoiler, and I think it's going to be very interesting to pay attention, because how you treat a doubleheader, especially right before a tournament.
Like I said, we'll know the results on all of that when we come back on Tuesday. Actually, when we come back on Tuesday, playoffs will be set. The other thing that we'll have when we'll come back on Tuesday is we'll have for sure the matchups of the Little League Softball District Championships. Canfield got the win last night over Poland 10-0, and to secure their spot with a rematch for Boardman on Tuesday in the championship. And then in 10U, we know that it's going to be Austintown against Poland in that championship. 10U will be at 6, 12U will be at 8. Canfield, though, got to talk about them for a minute, Ty. They struggled on Wednesday night against Boardman. They came in, they were both in the winners bracket. Boardman kind of beat them up 8-0. Cam Harina pitched a couple of innings, but had to be relieved because Boardman jumped on her. So she came back on Thursday after that something that could have shook her confidence a lot. Threw a no-hitter to get into the championship. No. Boom. Done. Not letting Poland get anything. Couple of walks. That's all they got. No-hitter. Canfield roll.
And that's what you want from teams, right? That's how you kind of build that competitive spirit at a young age, is just teaching them that, hey, it's only you that can kind of control your destiny at this point, especially the pitchers as well. You got to go out there with that right mindset. And I mean, that's exactly right. Erase what happened in the past. Let's go out with a fresh mind, and exactly what she did.
She was dealing tight. Like I said about Emma Davies the day before, she was working both sides of the plate, kind of coming up, coming down too. And that makes you so hard to hit when you don't know what's coming. Control issues here and there, but like I said, that's going to be expected with 12-year-olds. A couple of wild pitches here and there, but for the most part, working both sides of the plate, working both sides of the strike zone. That's phenomenal. And Cam Harina, great job. She's going to keep that softball forever. I think that's going to be one of her best memories, throwing a no-hitter to get into the championship game on Tuesday.
It's certainly got to be up there, right? It's going to go right into that memory book.
I mean, I was there when they gave her the game ball, and I could see the reaction. So I think she'll hold on to that for quite some time.
I mean, how can you not? That's such a great memory to have too. And I mean, not everyone gets a chance to do that in their career. So I mean, it's certainly something at such a young age too to hold to treasure, I would say, a little bit.
The top of this Canfield lineup is really good. I mean, I know they got beat by Boardman on Wednesday, but they're going to come back confident. And there's something that you have to watch. I mean, Sophia Seipel is really fast. If she gets on base in the leadoff spot, she can cause a lot of havoc. But then you have Sophia Payne right behind her. Alana Mollenkoff, the first baseman that can really hit pretty well power-wise, behind her in the 3 spot. So that top of the order for Canfield, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5, pretty good as well. They can mash. So you got to really be careful when you're pitching to them.
Yeah, I agree too. And I mean, when you look at these lineups, that's exactly what they want to build at such young ages too, is lineups that are healthy and sturdy from 1 through 9 or 1 through 10, whatever have you. And I mean, that's exactly what we've seen, is how much these girls and boys too at such a young age are taking into account their swing mechanics and just getting contact on the ball and making sure that they're having good swings, putting good swings on the ball. And I mean, paying attention to so many more things than athletes just 10, 15 years ago were paying attention to. And we're seeing lineups that are like Murder's Row, almost 1 through 9. It's like every single one of these girls and boys can mash on some of these 10U and 12U lineups, and it's really impressive to see.
And this was a Poland team. They came in scoring 15 runs in the last 2 games. So yes, their lineup was pretty efficient.
Potent. That's a potent lineup indeed. I mean, that's a lineup that knows how to get some runs across the board.
And I think coming into this game, if you would have asked me, I would have said, well, Poland has the advantage because they've won 2 in a row. They're coming in hot, and Canfield has to come in off the loss the night before. So I was thinking to myself, hey, I'm thinking, Poland has the advantage there. They got momentum, but Canfield washed away that loss really quick. They jumped on the game early. There was no point in going back, and then Cam Harina just threw an absolute gem. No hitter, and they're going to the championship.
It's just statements, right? You got to make those kind of statements to make sure you got the confidence to go forward. And that's exactly what happened there. You throw a no-hitter, and what kind of confidence are you rolling with going into the next round?
So it will be an AAC matchup in the championship for 12U, as Canfield will take on Boardman in the 12U division. In the 10U division, Austintown hasn't given up a hit yet. So Poland's going to be, they're going to be coming in hot with 2 wins themselves, but they're also going to be having a tall mountain to climb with the Austintown pitching staff that has not given up a hit yet.
it's going to be exciting to see how these girls adjust at such young ages to get ready to compete at such big levels. I think Ant's getting some breaking news, maybe.
I was just wishing Quinn luck because we're not going to be seeing Quinn for a couple weeks as he's going down to the Run of the Roses in Louisville. Want to say it right for the people in Kentucky? Louisville. It's not Louisville.
I was talking with Quinn at the All-Star game about that. So have a safe trip, of course, to Quinn as he's
going to be
basketball reasons
occupied with that, but still be doing all the work for our scheduling. So he's going to make sure all those district games for baseball that start on the 6th, just like Little League softball wrapping up. He's going to make sure people get out there for all those games. Class B playoffs are going to be taken care of. And it's all because Quinn's putting in work while he's coaching at one of the biggest – actually, I would wager to say the biggest national AAU tournament in the country. I mean, everyone's going down there. He was telling me before the show that one year Gino Auriemma was eating pizza at his game. Taking a break from recruiting all the high school kids. What are you going to do? I mean, you're going to be playing in front of Gino Auriemma. That's something else.
I'm a basketball junkie, but like Quinn's a basketball.
Go down there.
But Quinn's a basketball wizard. I admire Quinn's basketball knowledge, and I aspire to have the knowledge that Quinn.
I remember you guys were shooting the breeze a little bit in that All-Star game, and he was like running down all this basketball knowledge.
He's like a fountain of knowledge for the sport that I love.
Let's not make his head too big.
That I love accessing. He does a great job though too, and I mean for as much BS as we give him on a day-to-day basis, he does have.
Let's not make his head too big.
No. I mean, on other cases too, he doesn't know a lick of things about baseball. But
I think he's our basketball to what I'm the softball, right? So
yeah, exactly. Like he does not know a lick of baseball, but he'll admit that to you as well. He cannot talk to you about baseball worth anything. But he's a great basketball mind too. He does a great job with that.
Yeah, he's going to be a varsity coach one day. I'll put that.
Yeah. He puts in a great amount of work too, and a great amount of study time into his craft. He certainly has the mindset to do so.
Hux has got him on hold, and that's
Hux doesn't want him go. That's the thing too. No, that's going to be a fun team to talk about.
No, let's be honest. So that's like a big get to be on your staff. Like Hux has got a really good staff on his coaching role. So to be able to, because if Quinn really wanted to go somewhere, Hux wouldn't be able to stop him. So to be able to hold on to that, that means Hux is running a good program that Quinn believes in, and that's also a plus for Hux to have such a good assistant coach right next to him.
Yeah, absolutely, and just to bounce ideas off of each other, and just to be exposed to levels of competition from all over the place. There's some really talented teams. I mean, we already know what Bug Thompson and Wellsville have done in that EOAC for years as well. So some really talented 300 wins, 200 wins, I believe.
I can't remember.
I believe it's 200. I don't want to quote it too. We'll have to get the correction on that. But I mean, great programs that we've seen in that EOAC too, and going to be competitive again this upcoming season.
Dolph Carroll is a legend.
Dolph Carroll is huge. I mean, he's a big name.
I want to get him on the show a lot more.
I could literally you want to talk about like a basketball wizard that I could talk like hours upon hours with about just.
Remember his one post-game interview? I think it was with Ian. He's yelling at people while he's doing it. Hey, get down from there. Get along.
His personality is incredible too, and his mind for the game is incredible. I could talk with Dolph Carroll about the sport all the time.
He takes a break from doing a post-game interview to yell at a kid and tell him to get a life. Hey, get a life. Get out of there.
He's a goat as far as I'm concerned. Dude's a legend.
Sensei.
But nonetheless, we will be having Ty Eberhardt from Nightline 18U coming on here in just a few moments.
And that's a perfect segue into our first break. So when we come back, we should be having him on tap. Ty Eberhardt of Nightline 18U and much more on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens. On air, online, Wednesday afternoon weather update,
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms. 21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
But now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
We'll be seeing Mr. Mike Ackelson very, very soon as the football season is getting ever closer. 49 days until the first Friday of football, 7 weeks to the dot. And Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, as excited as we are about that, we still got baseball to talk about. And this guy with his team Nightline has been on a tear. Ty Eberhardt joins us on the show from his car. Ty, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
He's a driving force behind the wheel right now, but he's also a driving force behind this Nightline team. And I want to start with you manning this pitching staff, too, and playing in a lot of games behind the dish. What's been really the turnaround in the pitching for Nightline, and what's really helped you guys get on this hot streak that you've been on?
I think getting Ronnie Harper back and getting Madden Bame back after the PA State playoffs has really helped, and just getting our whole roster back and, you know, being able to get going without guys coming and then leaving, having to go play high school and everything, like having our whole team together and, you know, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is, we're a little bit more focused than we were, I feel like. So that's kind of really helped us get on this roll and being able to play well together.
It's the last weekend of Class B baseball regular season, and it's a mad push for the playoffs. What's the mindset of this team heading into this last weekend? I know it's a busy week for all the teams. How are you going to make this final push?
You know, just magic number's 4. You know, we got to be one of the top 4 teams. That's pretty much the focus coming into this final weekend and these final last games. And just some must-win games that we need to be able to get a World Series bid and everything.
You look at the pitching staff, too. I want to continue that question with Ronnie Harper, Man Bohm coming back, too. And there's the different contrasting styles, too, in their pitching approaches, too, as well as just all the pitchers that you've gotten to catch in your career. We always talk about how pitchers have to have different approaches depending on the catcher and the relationship side from that aspect. How do you build relationships from the catcher aspect to the pitchers, and how is catching each pitcher different? Do you have a different mindset going into that?
Yeah, you have to get a feel with what's working that day and, you know, how he's feeling that day. With Ronnie, you know, I've been catching him for 4 or 5 years. So, you know, we have that connection where we can just jump in and we get into the groove of the game. You know, some other guys, you know, you try to build that relationship in the dugout and everything, like, you know, after you come off the field, talk to them, see how they're feeling, see what they're thinking and everything. And, you just go from there. It takes a few games to, get in the groove with some certain guys and, really get a feel with how they're throwing. But yeah, it's been an easy adjustment with everybody. And, I feel like I have a good relationship with everybody on the staff. So just
Who has
look forward.
the hardest pitch to catch?
Hardest pitch to catch. I think probably Jake Papagallo and his split finger. He throws a split finger, and when that's really going, that's pretty difficult to catch and keep in front.
You mentioned being friends with You mentioned being friends with Ronnie Harper, and he was talking big game about his MLB The Show lineup. I got to ask too, from your side, is this legit? Is he as legit as he says?
Yeah, he does three things. He pitches, he bowls, and he plays MLB The Show. So he loves that game, and he'll be on there all night. That's all he does. We make fun of him for that.
He didn't tell us that he bowls. I mean, is he like an elite bowler?
Yeah, he's a pretty good bowler.
How much does the team go out and bowl together?
We've actually never gone out and bowled together. We actually probably should.
That's a good idea. Like, we need that.
But yeah, from like me and Ronnie being from PA and then everybody else being from Ohio, it might be kind of hard to do. But yeah, we should get the team out and go bowling sometime.
What's that dynamic too when you mentioned that and playing from PA to Ohio? Is there like a difference in what you've seen talent wise or how the game's approached maybe?
Yeah, I feel like, of course, I like the umpires a lot more in Ohio because PA umpires, some of them can be pretty bad. But yeah, I like just coming out here and, meeting new people, seeing new faces and, being able to still play. And, it's a lot different from high school and, knowing these guys since kindergarten and being able to play with them through all these years, then coming out here and, having new teammates, and it's fun. It's nice to come out and do with it being my first year in Youngstown.
It is your first year in Youngstown, and it's our first year of trying to venture into PA. We just signed Mohawk this year, so we're trying to get involved in PA baseball and give us insight on the communities in PA and the athletic communities in PA and how strong of a community you guys get to play in during the high school season.
Yeah, especially with baseball around my area, going to Hopewell, and there's a lot of tradition in the school that I go to with baseball. You get to get on the field and look up at the numbers on the scoreboard of all the winning teams that have been there. And it's a different attitude. It's a different focus in PA than what it is to Ohio because, you have that pride playing for your school and everything. But yeah, definitely around my area in Beaver County, there's a lot of good baseball to be played during the high school season.
Does football rule the roost as much as it does over here in Ohio in your area?
Might be going through a dead spot real quick, and
I think Ty hit a dead spot.
Yeah,
there we go.
Am I?
No, I think you're good now. I think you're good, bro.
Okay. What did you hear?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, about football, yeah, there's some great football teams. Aliquippa just won a state title. Central Valley just won a state title. So it's a lot. It's really exciting to watch high school football around here.
Talking about exciting and in your life and sports career as a whole, when's the time you were the most excited playing sports?
Definitely last season, I got to compete for a WPIAL title. So yeah, going into that game, it was a very different atmosphere from what I've ever been around, and it was so much fun to play in that game.
Would you call that your proudest sport achievement of your career?
Yes, absolutely. That was something that I I hope I can do again, next year in my senior year. But that was special, and that was a special team.
What is your idea of a great day to kind of get to know you a little bit more?
A great day, just like day-to-day life, like what
In
what do I
general,
do?
yeah, like an ideal day for you, an ideal day for Ty Eberhard.
Pretty much what I've been doing the past week or so. Like I was just at the gym. That's why I was in my car. I tried to get to the gym earlier so I can get back home and do this interview. But oh God, the dog's gonna go crazy. But
I feel like we won't have to deal with this.
Ohio and play. Like just gym and baseball. That's pretty much all I want to do.
How far do you have to travel to Scene Park every night?
It's about 40 some minutes, 45, maybe 50, depending.
What's kind of like your game day routine? Do you like to get there super early? Do you like to leave on time? And when you get there, what are some of the first things you do before you kind of suit up for the game?
Yeah, usually I like to get there a little bit more over an hour before game time, so about like an hour and a little bit less than an hour and a half, because an hour and a half's pretty long to just sit there. But when I get there, once we have most of our team there, I like to get 2 rounds in the cage, go out and stretch and throw, get a good stretch in, throw with my pitcher, and then for that day, go to the bullpen, and just really try to get in a groove with whoever's throwing that day and try to see what's working, what's on, what's off, and go from there. Kind of formulate a game plan with them and just get rolling right into the game.
All bets are off in this next question too. What's the favorite meal of the day? And if you could have anything for that meal, what's the go-to meal for it?
Favorite meal of the day. I don't know, probably like grilled chicken or something and some rice. That's especially coming home after the gym. Like I'll make something and yeah, probably some chicken and rice.
You do that for lunch, I'm guessing?
Yeah, usually.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Favorite thing to cook. I don't know. I don't usually cook. If I need to, I will. Sometimes we have leftovers here at home. Yeah, probably what I just said. Probably some chicken and rice. That's the go-to.
All right, so we'll backtrack. What's the best thing that your family, mom, dad, whoever's the cook in the house, what's the best thing that they make? What's their best dish?
My mom makes this like pizza rigatoni. That's pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What about your food that you could not eat? The food you were picky about as a kid? I think we all had at least one of them. And can you still not eat it, or can you eat it now?
I've honestly never been picky. Like anything put in front of me, even as a kid, I'd eat.
There's nothing.
I don't think I really
nothing off the top. That's wild too. I mean,
no, I don't think.
But like, if I give you a cow liver and you would eat it,
probably not.
There you go.
But he never had it though, so I guess he couldn't be picky.
Yeah,
you're like the king of picky on the other side.
If I never told him it was a cow liver, he'd probably be like, "This looks like fine. I'm gonna eat it."
You told him it was steak too, a well-seasoned steak. You probably like, all right, that's. No, how about just like out of the food you go to, what about the ideal sandwich too? Then what's the perfect ingredients on your perfect sandwich?
Definitely a permane sandwich. Being from around Pittsburgh, definitely a bacon permane sandwich. Fries, coleslaw, bacon, everything on that. That's probably the best. Yeah, that's probably the best sandwich I've had.
I feel like we should stay on this food topic, even though it's making me really hungry here in the middle of the day. What about the post-game meal? What's your favorite post-game meal?
Post-game, usually, me, Madden, and Ronnie. Since we live in PA around the same area, sometimes I'll ride up with them. But usually we'll go to Cane's and we'll have Cane's because we can't have Cane's being from PA. So when we're out that way, we have to get Cane's.
That's a go-to place, it seems like, for a lot of Scene Park baseball players.
Yep.
You talk about the relationships you've been able to make inside the sport of baseball. What is one of your best friends inside the sport that doesn't wear the same jersey as you?
Oh man. Probably Ronnie. I don't get to play him that much in high school because we're out of section and everything. But when we do play him, it's fun to see him on the other side of the field, because that's kind of weird to me, because he's always been on my travel teams, this Nightline team. I've always been with him. Probably Ronnie Harper.
What's the batting average against Ronnie Harper for you lifetime?
I think I've hit off of him 3 times, and I have 2 doubles off of him.
So you got a little bit of talking.
But but he will complain. He's like, "You've caught me forever. You know exactly what I'm gonna throw. You know what all my stuff does. You have the advantage." Like, still can't get me out, Ronnie.
I think pitchers always have the advantage in baseball, because even good hitters get out 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah, definitely.
When you think about, since we're on this topic, baseball players, pitchers that you've faced that you wish you could catch, who makes that list?
That I wish I could catch. Cooper Vance, definitely, because they were in our section. I enjoyed, being at the plate against him, and I probably wish I could have caught Cooper Vance. That's pretty much the only person that comes to mind, because I've had a few at bats against him, especially this year, being able to play him twice in section and then playing him once in the Whitfield playoffs.
Is there a pitcher that you face in your career that stands out as being one of the toughest?
I don't know. I can't. Usually when I'm in the box, I don't really know who I'm hitting against or what his name is. I step in the box and, try to do my job. So, but yeah, nobody that really comes to mind.
What is the biggest form of adversity that you've had to face in your career, and how did you get past it?
This year, early in the season, I sprained my ankle, and thank God I didn't miss any games, because, the days that we were supposed to have games that I couldn't play, they either got rained out or something happened where it got canceled. But trying to get back from that and trying to the whole high school season, I was kind of just battling that and trying to fight through it, because I felt my ankle was weaker than it has been. I sprained it, and trying to get back from that was definitely tough.
One last question before we let you go. I want to know, who are the people that support you the most in your career?
Definitely my dad. My dad, I think he's missed like 2 or 3 games this year because he was out in California for work or whatever. But definitely my dad, because I grew up with him through baseball. He was my coach when I was younger, and then he runs a travel organization, so I was always there with him. And now, playing with Nightline, he likes to come out. He likes to just sit and watch and be a dad, without having to coach or worrying about a team or whatever. But definitely my dad. He's always been there for me.
All right, Ty, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck this weekend. I know it's a mad push for the playoffs. You're currently in 4th, but you got 3 teams right on your tail, so it's going to be a fun last close weekend. We wish you the best of luck. You'll have coverage on YSN. We look forward to continuing our coverage and talking to you again real soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ty Eberhardt of Nightline 18U joining us from Pennsylvania. A little bit on the road, a little bit at home. I like that. I like that dynamic. I was honestly kind of scared on the road. I was like, oh God.
We've been breaking into this Keystone State with a lot of Pennsylvania talent getting interviewed in this summer season, and it gives us that green light because they're over at Scene Park too. So we love kind of covering these athletes that we don't get to cover as much during the high school season.
And maybe it opens the door, I'm just saying, YSN says no to nobody, and it's free to the school program of your choice. So if you're, one of these players and you want this kind of coverage throughout your high school career, talk to your AD. Have them reach out to us. It is free to the school. And the only time that we charge for our streams is during the tournament when the OHSAA or for PA's side, their governing body charges the streaming fee. So that's the only time when we have to charge for our streams at this point. So everything else is free. If anyone tells you that YSN charges their fans for the games, other than playoffs, it's not true. We are a straight up free streaming service. We make our money through advertisements. So if you think you have to pay for us, you really don't.
X on that.
Lies. False.
Unless it's tournament time, and that's only because
tournament time, and then that one obscure year after COVID when we did make pay-per-view for the whole season.
But I believe too, yeah. I mean,
it's football though, because remember then WRS, one of our wonderful sponsors, who you'll hear from a little bit later in the show in our next break, they flipped the bill for basketball and baseball season for that season. So even though football season was pay-per-view throughout the whole year that year, remember our wonderful sponsors that we have, they stepped up big that year as well, and they made basketball season free, and they made baseball and softball season free that year too.
Yeah, and it's our sponsors that get the regular season games free, but it is during tournament time too, and we've always been upfront too, it's because we have to pay our fees and our dues to get there for the games as well. So in doing that too, we kind of have to put a little bit of the payment too, but we give a great deal as well in giving all the games for that one price point as well.
While we're at it, we're trying to while we're on the YSN kind of commercial segment of this show. I know travel season is almost over, so it's a little late for this year. But if you're a travel organization and you liked what we did for a couple of travel teams this year, and you want to see it happen to your travel organization next year, we do not say no to travel softball, travel baseball, whatever it may be. We just ask that there is a little bit of a sponsorship so we can pay our announcers for making the trips with you guys, and we can pay the streaming fees. So that's the only thing we would ask from travel organizations. It's a small sponsorship fee. So we can pay our announcers for traveling with you guys, and that we could also pay the streaming fees that come up with that. So we say no to travel. I mean, we don't say no to travel. We don't say no to high school anywhere, whether it be Cleveland, PA. Heck, we'll go out of state. We'll send you a YSN in a box and give you all the equipment you need.
Yeah, we'll get you taken care of.
Anywhere you want. It's free to the high schools. We'd love to cover you. And if you're one of those schools that is on the fence, don't be on the fence anymore. Come on and check us out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, especially too before the high school season as well. If you're a high school that's looking for YSN, it's perfect time right before football, volleyball kicks things off here in just 7 weeks is the first football Friday. So you still have plenty of time to get signed on and make sure that you have YSN for this upcoming school year.
We're going to have our first fall season with Mohawk. They signed during the basketball season, so very excited for that. In our second fall seasons with Garfield and Wyndham, those are two of our newest.
And a little bit suspicious that we will, or not suspicious, I guess. I would say a little bit.
Sus.
No, not sus, but I'm a little bit curious on what the new ones are for this year. I would say because you always know there's some that are looming too. And I mean, if anything we've heard from DJ is correct too, there's some that are kind of in the break room waiting.
I believe it'll be our first fall with Badger. I think they signed during the basketball season.
I believe you're correct too. So we're going to have our first football with a couple of Kinsman, Ohio, and Mohawk.
Football, soccer, and volleyball, and golf and cross country with Mohawk. So very excited about all that in our new school. And Mohawk and Badger and Garfield will have their second season, and Wyndham will have their second season. So those are some new schools that signed on recently. So I'm looking at schools like, hey, Bristol, we'd like to be a Panther a little bit. We don't have any Panthers on the wall.
Don't have any Panthers.
Yeah, we have Wildcats, we have Tigers, we have Bears.
How about some Dukes?
Yeah, some Lions.
Dukes.
Get some Dukes.
I want some Dukes. I want to compete.
Not the way you think, though. Not that kind of Duke.
No. I want the EBC trifecta that's always competing for like everything. That's what we need is that EBC trifecta. The Triforce of the EBC.
Anywhere you want. Once again, if you are a high school or an organization that wants to partner with YSN, it's easy to reach us. You can send us a message on any of our social media platforms. We'll get back to you. Or you can send emails to info at ysnlive.com, and that DJ Oakley will get back to you as well for that too. So that's all you need. I think the school signs a contract, and we're good to go.
Exciting times too, and you still got plenty of time before the fall 2022 sports season begins.
I guess you got advertisement time too. If you're an advertiser that wants to get with YSN and you want to put your business out there for the next sports season, plenty of time to do so. Same way, just reach out to us on social medias. Reach out to us at info@ysnlive.com through email. And if you want all that, we'll get you squared away with some budgeted cost estimates for what you want to do.
Take advantage of it too. It's a great deal and the perfect time to strike too. You'll get the full high school season too if you sign the year. You get all the sports on the year.
So I feel like this has been a YSN commercial for the last 15 minutes, and we're going to take a commercial break and hit you with some of our actual sponsors commercials. When we come back on Running Point, we'll have more fun on ysnlive.com. Brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet, one of our wonderful sponsors in Austintown.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable. We are close. You call it hometown. We call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our family's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And Ty, I'm sure you've seen it, everyone's seen it, that the Big Ten is getting a drastic change as far as geographical sense. They're going to be getting two teams all the way from the west to the west coast. Did you know that UCLA to Rutgers is the same as Rutgers to Iceland?
Answers saying facts.
Just spitting facts. But that brings up this idea of if we threw travel out the window, and obviously we can't do that in high school sports because travel is a lot more expensive and a lot more of a fine detail in high school sports than it is in college. I'm sure UCLA isn't tripping about a trip to the East Coast for their teams because, let's face it, UCLA and USC are rolling in dough. Our high schools are not. But if you could see we've had a chance to see a lot of high schools in the region, in the district, with tournaments and stuff. If you could see any high school outside of the Northeast Ohio, I guess out of our valley, because there are some schools that are probably in the valley but aren't in our wall because they're not signed with YSN yet. So that's why I didn't want to say YSN teams, because then you could go and say something like Warren Harding, because they're not our YSN team, but they're still local. If you could see any team that's kind of out of the coverage map, I guess I would say, come into a conference, what kind of teams would you want to see come into? Which conference would you want to see them come into? And what sport are we thinking? Like, what sport are you thinking that for? Because you have to come into all the conferences, but I'm sure, like, if you said something like Dover, you'd be saying, okay, we want them for football.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. There's a few I think like looks. I don't know, man. Like I would love to see more Kirtland football face like the teams from around here.
So what conference do you think you'd want to see Kirtland in? Like, do you think Kirtland in the NE8?
I mean, that's the first one I was thinking of, because they would be technically every team would be above them. They'd be Division 6 in that.
Right.
It would be, I mean, but the only problem is you'd be okay facing Kirtland. Like, I mean, would your Polands, your Hubbards, and that be all right facing a Kirtland?
And
And
like,
that
would they be all right risking the loss to a D6 school? I don't know.
because it's all to gain for Kirtland. Every team's above them in the divisions too. So I mean, they could just if they have a great season inside of that.
That probably won't happen. But the problem is Kirtland doesn't really fit into the smaller division conferences.
You can't put them in like the MVAC though, no, because like they would race. I think both sides of that because their team's so good that they've beaten D4 teams, D3 team powerhouse teams with ease before too. So that would be a fun matchup though, because I think there's a lot of teams that can provide some sort of battle with it. I also think Steubenville football would be another fun one.
Let me spit out a team that we always see in the lower divisions that is a smaller school that might actually be kind of cool to see in a MVAC, especially the MVAC great tier with Crestview, Garfield, Champion, Brookfield, LeBray, a lot of strong football programs. Lucas.
That would be an interesting one too, because Lucas is in contention in a lot of years too. I've seen him in contention.
And I know they've been McDonald's bugaboo for quite a bit. Every time that McDonald's seem to get to a playoff game deep in the playoffs, whether it be basketball or football, they kind of run into Lucas. So hey, there's already a rivalry there. Let's put them together.
I would honestly too.
Canton Central Catholic in the Steel Valley Conference to play Mooney and Ursuline.
That would be fun.
Especially basketball and baseball.
I'd like there's some really good teams too in Portage County. I'd like Aurora in the AAC. Like Aurora would be a great matchup for I think like a Fitch, a Boardman, a Canfield.
I'm looking at Aurora's volleyball team.
Oh my God, just those matchups would be so fun too. Like Aurora and fall sports in general would be all sports, because Aurora usually has quality sports up and down all of it, but like fall sports, especially football and volleyball, would be so fun in that AAC, I think.
Oh, let's see. I'm trying. Okay. For softball, a team that I want up in this area is Jonathan Alder. Very good softball program. I think they're in the Columbus area. That would be awesome to see them come up and start playing South Range, West Branch. Put them in the EBC, put them in the NE8, put them in the AAC. Doesn't matter. I want to see them play our high quality teams.
I mean, and there's plenty of them here too. There's plenty of competition that's around here.
How about a team that would probably fit in that EBC mold because they're just gritty. And they have that almost, I don't want to say killer mentality because that sounds too violent, but they have that like swag, that walk into a room, they own it kind of mentality that a lot of the EBC teams have. Canton Hoover. I know they're bigger, I get it. Like they wouldn't fit division wise, but if we took divisions in size away, I feel like Canton Hoover and all the sports they play have that like walk into a room, blue collar, we own it, we work hard, we're gritty kind of mentality.
I think that's a fair point to make too. I mean, they're all obviously a great team all the way through. I'd also venture to say, honestly, and looking at that EBC conference, I'd kind of like to see Triway. I'd like to see Triway.
A Rooster?
Yeah. I think Triway, they've played a lot of teams.
No one wants to see them in softball right now.
No one wants to see them in softball, but I'd be interested to see them go up against the competition that the EBC presents with that too, because there's some tough competition for a Triway too. I think that'd be interesting to see Triway compete in a conference like that.
EBC, give them another Quakers, put New Philadelphia in there.
That would be fun. New Philadelphia knows how to bring some really good, talented teams and a lot of things that they do for sure.
We see the match, especially in basketball. That's a big matchup in D2. New Philly is in our region. Sometimes they match up with the West Branch. Sometimes they match up with Salem. Bring New Philly in.
New Philly does tend to seem to fall in the laps of these teams a lot as well too. So I'm not even surprised by that pick either.
I just thought of it, and I'm thinking for basketball, especially on the girls' side, West Geauga.
That would be a good one too. That would be a good pickup. If you really want, like, I guess a good team, I'd like to see too from like down. I believe their South Wheelersburg is a team that
Wheelersburg is, once again, no one wants to see them in softball, but
No, you don't want to see them in softball. But like the competition that they would bring if they came up here too, and like I'd like to see some of those matchups too, because we don't get to see Wheelersburg often at all up here.
You brought up Triway. I'm gonna bring him another T. Maslin Tesla.
Tesla is a good one too. I thought about Tesla for like a little bit lower division, but Maslin Tesla is would be very competitive, I think, in a lot of those D4 or D3 conferences.
And I just thought of another basketball one because of the color scheme. They're blue and red too. Fort Fry,
yeah. There's, I agree too. There's a lot of high school basketball teams like outside of the coverage map of us too. Well, not coverage map. I just not in the local area that I guess would be covered. Right. Obviously, boys ones. I don't think you're looking any further than like St. V's. I feel like St. Vincent St. Mary's is like a huge one.
See, like I don't think anyone would want them in their conference.
Well, no, you wouldn't want them though.
Stay independent.
We would want them on YSN. We want to be able.
Oh yeah, but we're talking like feasibly teams that you would bring into a conference.
I would say
I don't think anyone would feasibly bring St. Vincent St. Mary into
I think, honestly, even like inside of YSN map, I know they probably wouldn't. I'd love to see Louisville. I know it's out of their kind of map. I'd love to see Louisville in the AAC.
No, the AAC might be looking for a spot.
And just because of what Howland did, Fitch is solid. Boardman's always good too. Like Canfield's usually got a solid program. Harding is they'll have their like down years, but they're a great program. I think that would be a great competitive division too if you add the Leopards to it, because I could see Louisville competing beating all those teams and having great battles with all those teams as well. I think it'd be a nice fit. It would just be the driving time that you'd have to battle.
Yeah, but remember, we're location out the window because UCLA and USC don't mind going from West Coast to East Coast. So
that's fair too.
It's a fun conversation to have.
But that's a fair conversation, I would say, for like inside the YSN coverage too. That would be a cool one, I think.
Well, there's one team that, like for basketball, I think Bristol would be a good fit inside one of our conferences. Not exactly terribly far away, but a little bit outside of our coverage map. But I think they would fit right into one of our conferences, whether it be the MVAC. They probably fit pretty much in there as far as their size. They could probably compete pretty well in either tier of the MVAC.
Let's see Kent McKinley come to the AAC just so we could have that beautiful gym too to be able to call games. And Canton McKinley
and play your football games at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, not like the football, obviously Hall of Fame.
Titus wants the facilities. They don't even want the athletes. Just give me the facilities.
No, obviously you want the athletes. Canton McKinley reps athletes like there's no tomorrow. But now those facilities are gorgeous too. And that I think like all those Federal League teams, it'd be interesting to see them play full seasons against them, because it's like a lot of our teams get like their first exposure against these Federal League teams oftentimes inside the tournament, with the exception of like basketball season especially, but like exception Louisville went right at them a lot too. But I'd like to see a lot more of these Federal League teams too. It'd be cool to see some of them kind of convert to some of these divisions or conferences, I would say.
And I know it sounds kind of silly, but some of the ones that we're saying are really silly because they're far away in the state. But some of these closer teams, like 10 years ago, you would have never imagined that South Range and Poland would be playing each other in conferences, right? So it's not like you never know what's going to happen 10 years in the future, or how these conferences might realign.
It could be super conferences too. You might see.
There's a trickle-down effect, and if it happens in college, it's probably coming in high school at some point.
Yeah, and we know every state's different too, so when Ohio kind of adapts, if they ever do it, we'll have to see. But I could absolutely see Ohio and the OHSAA going to a super district kind of the super conference, I should say, not district, super conferences of just like packing a bunch of teams into like these certain conferences and just calling it that too. I could absolutely see somewhere down the road super conferences in these sports.
Super conference.
Like these just ridiculous 32 team conferences. Like you're like at some point, if we're gonna become
There's one conference. It's just all the tiers.
You are ready.
We
What I feel like 8 teams is like the max you should do in a conference, because if you do 8 teams, that gives you 7 games at home, 7 games away on basketball side, right? So you get home and away games for all those conference games, and it gives you a little bit of room to schedule non-conference. You start making super conferences, then you got to let them schedule independently. You can't be like you only play conference games
At
then.
some point, it would turn into the Whitfield, where it's like we are the, pick a name. We are the Quad County Athletic Conference with Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbia, in what, Portage or something.
Yeah, and it's just all
And
the
it's like there are what let's say 4 or 5 tiers, and if you place top 3 in those tiers, you go to a tournament to win the Quad County, conference championship. That's what that would turn into.
It would have to, right? Because you can't play a game full of schedule conferences. I really, though, I do like the format of still having conferences to win for these teams, though, year to year.
Those tiers would probably just end up being what the conferences are now. They're just not called a conference anymore. They're just a tier of the one big super conference.
So let me ask you this, and you take away these conferences too. Do you think that's good or bad for the future of high school sports if you take away conferences and conference crowns like that by combining them and making?
I think I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, yes, it's nice to win a conference championship, but I think the thing the coaches treasure more in the conference play is how good their conference is or not good, and how much competition that gives them per se. So like, you have to play a team that's really good twice a year. You want to stay in that conference. But if you're in a conference where you're head and shoulders above everybody and you're not really getting anything from those 14 games a year, then you're kind of sitting there like, why are we in this conference? Let's just let these conferences die. So I think both sides of the coin have different arguments. I think most coaches, if you ask them, would probably be like, we played the same teams anyway. If you said we were independent, but we just had to go schedule the teams, like we would schedule these area teams that are really good. They just want to be ready for the tournament because except for football, everybody gets in. So football might be different because football, you want to be in a conference that gets you computer points. That's fair. In every other sport, you probably want to be, it doesn't really matter what conference you have, but you just want to have a good schedule to get yourselves as prepared for the tournament as possible.
Do you think
there are those teams that really pour it? Like if you win your first conference title, like we saw East Palestine girls do last season, win their first EOAC conference title of their program history. That doesn't happen if there's no conference.
I feel like conference championships set obtainable goals for certain teams to try to achieve, right? Do you think like the abolishment, if you were to abolish conference championships, do you think that would do more help than hurt sports in high school, or are you kind of indifferent on the fence?
I think it would hurt more because really, what's it hurting? It's not hurting anything. Like we don't have conference tournaments where you're putting extra games on players for the most part. I know the OVAC has one. For the most part, here in Ohio, in our area, we don't have like an NE8 tournament that we're adding games to these schedules for the tournament. So it says the NE8 champion who has the best regular season. So I don't think it really hurts or help. I don't think it hurts to have it. So why would it help to lose it?
Obviously, football is a different animal, but I absolutely love the conferences that we have set up, and I love like those 8-team conferences too. Obviously, like MVAC is 16, but it's split up into 2. I love having that because, like I said, for all other sports, whether that be volleyball, basketball, your baseball, softballs, it gives you the flexibility to play everyone in your conference in a home and away game, to build those kind of rivalries, to build those relationships with schools, and kind of get that atmosphere, that high school atmosphere for these kids still. And then you still have the non-conference schedule to kind of bolster it up. Obviously, like you said, the only like downside with these conferences is just sometimes the lack of competition that some of these teams will complain about in them.
But we're gonna pull a Big Ten and bring up Lakota West from Southwest Ohio.
Kirtland is joining the NE8.
Lakota West
is on the native flesh. That would be something. That'd be like,
I think I'm right. The Lakota West Blackhawks. I think that's their nickname. Joining the NE8.
It's gonna be oh man, I can't think of it now. I'm losing it. I can't think of what the team I was gonna say too. What was their name? The one that Bishop Sycamore. Yeah, that's That team that doesn't exist. Yeah, we're gonna bring Bishop Sycamore.
Enter the conversation.
Bishop Sycamore is getting into one of these conferences. That's what it was. We're like a year removed from that. That was still wild.
Lakota West. Now I'm really interested to see if they're the Blackhawks.
Where they're located, or no?
I know where they are. I'm just.
Well, obviously, like they're Lakota West, but just I didn't know. I thought you were looking up like where on a map they were. Like where
I know they're in the Cincinnati area.
Yeah, they're down south.
They're the Firebirds. I was so close. I said Blackhawks. They're
That's a nice name though. Firebirds,
because they got red in their uniform, but they're mostly black, and their logo is kind of a black bird silhouette. So I was thinking like, oh, they must be the Blackbird or the whatever. I said Blackhawks.
Blackhawks, yeah.
Nope, they were the Firebirds. But yeah, they're coming.
Yeah, we also have a lot of games on the docket coming for you this weekend on YSN as well that we're going to get a chance to preview as well. It's 18U night in the ballpark tonight as we get into the 4th of July weekend, TGIF, right, Ann?
TGIF, we have a lot of things to preview because we have Saturday, Sunday double headers in Scene Park. And then obviously we won't be here until Tuesday. So when we come back on Tuesday, not only will we be ready for Class B tournaments, but we'll be ready for the Little League Softball Championships, and we'll be ready for the start of we'll be ready for the start of the Little League Baseball District as well. And that starts on Wednesday.
Don't forget, too, Mahoning Valley Scrappers in town starting on Monday, too, for the 4th of July. We have 4 free tickets on the docket for you if you could just answer the question.
Perfect segue, Ty. The question once again, for those of you that are just tuning in for these, not these exact 4 tickets, but 4 tickets to any remaining home game, I want to make sure that no one thinks that they can take a barcode because, as you can tell,
can't snag them from Ann. He's got you.
Not a ticket. We got you. The question is the date that Eastwood Field opened their doors. It's on our Twitter. It is also here. So if you the first to either comment on our show or add us on the Twitter, add us on Twitter at YSN_live, I should say, is our @ handle. We can, or you can at the Running Point Twitter if you want. Running Point at Running Point YSN, whatever. Get a hold of at me personally, at Ty personally. He's got a new Twitter account.
We said too the hint is pretty easy too. We're really close to the anniversary of the opening of Eastwood Field too. So we just need that opening date for Eastwood Field, and we can get your 4th of July plans booked with 4 tickets to the Mahoning Valley Scrappers.
And if you don't want the 4th, it's good for any remaining home game of the 2022 season. 4 tickets. They are upper box tickets. And they can be redeemed at the Chevy All-Stars box office.
Let's be real. There's not a bad seat in Eastwood Field, though. There's not a bad seat in that part.
No, and if you wanted to upgrade to a low, it's like $2. So it's $2 less than what it would be. So.
Yeah. So it's absolutely worth it too. Not a bad seat in that ballpark, and they got a win last night too. That was a nice win to kind of end that skid.
Kind of weathered the storm after that game that Romo did over the weekend. He was boasting that he is the good luck charm in the play-by-play booth because the day that he covers for Richie, the Scrappers score I think like 15 runs, somewhere like that on Saturday. So maybe he's traveling with the team. I don't know. They got some good mojo back.
Yeah, maybe that's the case.
I haven't seen Romo in a while. Did he make the trip? Did the Scrappers bring him on?
They might have too. They might have said, "Sorry, Richie, you've been helping us skin too. Maybe you got to take some more scene games for us."
They do whatever it takes down there to get the wins.
No, but in all honesty, it's a good win for the Scrappers to get back on board. And I mean, like we said too, we said it yesterday. I'll say it again. No better way to spend the evening for 4th of July than to have Richie Giuliano calling the Scrappers in the background of whatever you're doing for the 4th.
Fireworks after too. So there's a fireworks show down there in Eastwood if you want to take in the game and then stick around for fireworks. They'll have 2 fireworks shows that week because they will still have fireworks Friday as well. So Monday and Friday will both be fireworks night.
4th of July is going to go out with a bang, everybody. It's going to be a great night at Eastwood.
And this and 4th of July always go out with a bang.
You got to, right? You got to. And the Scrappers always know how to put on a good fireworks show. So definitely I would make sure you make a stop at Eastwood Field, too, with 2 big firework nights this week.
Before we go to break, I'll just one more time, 4 free tickets to any remaining home game, including that one on Monday, July 4th. for the first person that answers the question of what is the date of the opening of Eastwood Field. So if you can hit us up with that on Twitter or on the comments section here on the show, you can have 4 free tickets to any remaining home Scrappers game of the 2022 season. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll have the preview of the schedule of the weekend on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
It's a new year at Acura of Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi with huge savings on over 350 fully inspected vehicles. We have cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, and work vehicles. If we don't have it, our team will find it. We aim for 100% credit approval with payments as low as $99 per month. And as always, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. For a great vehicle and a great experience, come see why everyone is stopping by at Acura Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting, where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
You know, being able to have success on the football field and the basketball court and just every aspect of, my sports career is now documented. And one of the greatest things about high school sports is to be able to talk about it for the rest of your life and to look back on the days with my buddies whenever we would have some battles, whether it was our rival or just another game. And I could go back and look at it and, not only myself, but my family members, my teammates, and it's something that will last a lifetime. My name is Parker Sherry, and my sports network is your sports network.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you alongside Ty Bartell. And Ty, it is time to take on the task of previewing the big weekend we have after the end of Sunday. Regular season for 16U and 18U baseball at the Class B level will be done, and we will have the playoffs set. But there's a lot to get through before that, and we'll start with tonight. It's 18U night at the ballpark. Ty, as always, I'll let you call out the scheduled, and then I'll call out who's going to be there for YSN to call it.
I got you on the first one, Ant, because I'll be taking care of the Scene 1 duties with Avalanche and Athletics. First pitch slated for 5:30 on Scene 1, followed by Dura Edge and Astro at 8 o'clock on Scene 1. So that should be a fun couple of matchups, and I'm looking forward to it tonight.
So you got the doubleheader in the nice, comfy press box. What about at Scene 2?
Scene 2, it's going to be Nightline taking on Eagleware in what feels like a must-win game for Nightline.
It is, especially with a bunch of teams nipping at the ankles. There are Nightline's in fourth, and there are 3 other teams that are less than a game behind them. So it's an important win for them. Alec Caberno will be on the call for that one.
Should be a fun one, too. And like you said, it's important as far as standings are concerned going forward. Then over at Scene 3 at 5:30 p.m., it's going to be Prospects taking on Ballistic, followed by Whiting taking on Creekside Fitness.
Matt Mayer will be on the call for that one as well. And when you look at the 18U standings, Ty, as we bring them up, like I said, the first and second place pretty much secure with Astro and Creekside. But you look at the rest of the standings, and it's Avalanche is a game and a half ahead of Nightline, and that 3-4 spot's important because if you're 4, you're playing Astros right out of the gate. If you're 3, you got Creekside Fitness. So the tussle between those two is important. But then right after Nightline, you have Ballistic, Dura Edge, and Athletics within what, a game and a game? Yeah, within a game of Nightline. So at the most, a game and a half. The most is a game and a half for Athletics. They're a game and a half back with an 11-13 record. Everyone else is at least a game back. So there's a lot of congestion between 4 and 7 in this standings, and who wins this weekend is going to be a big picture clearing games.
There's possibility too, and that's what I'm interested for is this 8 o'clock game. Obviously, Dura Edge has a tall task going up against Astro, but Dura Edge will have the 3 games between Avalanche, Athletics, Nightline, Eagleware, Prospects, Ballistics that go on before them at 5:30. Ballistic, Nightline, and Avalanche all sit above Dura Edge in the standings by no more than 2 games back in the loss column to Avalanche, 1 to Nightline, and tied, same, 12 losses to Ballistic. So there could be possibility if everything goes right, Dura Edge's favor, those 3 teams could drop a game too, and Dura Edge has a slate in front of them where they got to beat the best team in 18U. But I'm excited for these games though tonight.
The most competitive game, it might be Avalanche versus Athletics because
I'm excited. That
the Avalanche, who they want to keep that 3 spot, but they're pretty much locked into you would think, unless they have a debacle, they're locked into a playoff spot. But the Athletics need a win to stay in the hunt. I mean, they're 11-13 right now. They are a game and a half back of 4th place, and they can't afford to drop any games this weekend. So they're going to need that win. They're going to be hungry for a win. Can that be enough to sustain them to beat Avalanche?
The scary thing is right now, at least looking at the standings wise for Avalanche, is the fact that you look back at Nightline and you see that Nightline only has 1 loss. Avalanche with 3 games left on the season. Nightline obviously has 4, but that's going to even itself out. But if Nightline can keep doing their ways too, if Nightline goes 4 for 4 in these games, 1 drop by Avalanche, if they have the same record as Nightline has the season record on Avalanche. So Nightline jumps them automatically too. And that might not jump them out of the playoffs, but it could be the difference between who's 3 and 4 seed. And that makes all the difference too going into that tournament.
So tonight you have Nightline and Ballistic that both are in kind of must-win opportunities because they're both playing teams that are below them in the standings.
It's a huge
Nightline has Eagleware and Ballistic has Prospects, but Prospects have already proven they can beat people. And Eagleware, even though they're in last, they still have 5 wins in the season, so you cannot sleep on them either. You can't afford to lose games to people who are behind you at this point in the season.
No, you really can at this point. And I mean, there's a lot of 18U games on the docket for this weekend as well. So, I mean, a lot of divisions and a lot of things to be decided by Sunday.
So 5 games tonight in 18U action, and there are a couple of them that will have tremendous impact in the standings, and other ones that could if there are upsets. A busy day on Saturday for 18U and 16U. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 18U games on Saturday, and you said 16U. They have. Let me pull it up real quick. They have 5 games on Saturday. So that's a total of 13 games if you're counting on Saturday between 18U and 16U.
You want to go run through the matchups real quick?
Yeah, let's do what we always do. You hit me with the matchups. I'll hit you with who's calling them.
All right, for 16U, first and foremost, we'll get all of these are morning matchups. 9:30 a.m., the only 16U on Scene 1 on Saturday. It's going to be Eagleware taking on Dura Edge on Scene 1.
CJ Schroeds will be on the call down there for that one.
CJ. And then on Scene 2, we got a 9:15 start between Ballistic and Avalanche, followed by Creekside and Whiting at Nightline and Athletics at 11:45 on Scene 2.
Ian O'Brien will be on the call for both those as he's pulling double duty.
Scene 3 has Astros taking on Prospects at 9 a.m., followed by Creekside and Whiting at 11:30, which is going to be a big matchup at 11:30.
Alec Burnham will be holding down Scene 3 tomorrow morning.
Going over to 18U on Scene 1, we'll go with the first 2 noon games and afternoon game. Noon start, Dura Edge takes on Whiting on Scene 1, followed by Dura Edge and Nightline at 2:30 on Scene 1.
That is going to be Matt Mayer on the call for both of those.
Nightcap for Scene 1 looks like this, with Astro Falcons taking on Nightline in a huge matchup on Scene 1 at 5 p.m., followed by Ballistic and Astro on Scene 1 at 7:30 p.m.
It will be Noah Ricks on the call for that one for both of them. He'll have the doubleheader for Scene 1 and the nightcap.
For the afternoon cap for the Scene 2 scene, it looks like it's going to be Prospects at Eagleware at 2:15, followed by Eagleware and Creekside Fitness at 4:45.
We will unfortunately not have that 2:15 game covered, but at 4:45, Dom O'Brien will be making his way down to Scene 2 to cover that one.
A lot of games on the docket, too, and a lot of announcers that are putting in extra work for us this weekend. And then on Scene 3 for the afternoon cap, and then early evening cap, Athletics and Whiting at Scene 3 at 3 p.m., followed by a 5:30 start between Avalanche and Prospects.
Those ones will be on the network, but are set for video only, so no announcers will be there.
We'll still have the coverage of those games, no doubt, for you on Saturday.
And now we go to Sunday.
Sunday, the final day, too, and it's a big 16U day as everything will get figured out on Sunday. As we go to, first and foremost, Scene 1 for the morning cap, it is going to be a 9:30 start for Eagleware and Ballistic, followed by 12 o'clock noon start of Creekside and Eagleware in Scene 1.
Matt Mayer is going to be on Scene 1 for the doubleheader in the morning.
All right, and then the only other game on Scene 1 is actually just the afternoon game, Athletics and Astros at 2:30.
And Scene 1 at 2:30 is going to be David Williams making the call there.
All righty.
I have a 5 o'clock game on Scene 1, though, too.
It's probably 18U when we get it.
Okay. My bad.
No, you're good. 16U Scene 2, we got the morning cap of Creekside Fitness taking on Athletics at 9:15, followed by Dura Edge and Prospects at 11:45.
All right, that's going to be on Scene 2. Noah Doty on the call there.
And then the afternoon cap on Scene 2 for 16U Ballistic and Whiting at 2:15, followed by Dura Edge and Nightline at 4:45.
And that one will be Dom O'Brien on the call for those two.
It's a morning to early afternoon cap for Scene 3. As 9 a.m., it's going to be Astros and Nightline, followed by 11:30 Avalanche taking on Whiting on Scene 3.
Looks like Bob Zanny will be there for the 9 a.m. game, and then the 11:30 a.m. game on Scene 3 will be video only.
Okay, and then 2 p.m. for 16U on Scene 3. It's going to be Avalanche and Prospects.
That one will be video only as well, but will be on the network.
And then finally, our 18U on Sunday. You mentioned it, and Scene 2 will go there for 7:15. Scene 1. I don't know why I started Scene 2. Scene 1, we have 5 o'clock, it's Astros and Prospects at 5, followed by Avalanche and Dura Edge at 7:30 for 18U on Scene 1.
David Williams will be doing those two, so he's going to be doing 3 games for us down at Scene.
Nice
all
job.
on Scene 1.
Eagleware and Athletics are the 18U game happening at 7:15 on Scene 2.
That's Dom O'Brien making the call. He'll be doing 3 games on Sunday as well.
And then to finish out the nightcap, it's 18U night on Scene 3 as 4:30 p.m. start between Whiting and Ballistic, followed by Creekside and Nightline at 7.
Those both will be on the network, but are going to be video only on Scene 3.
It'll be a great night, though, as that will round out 18U and 16U division. So we will have division winners, and we will have the standings rounded out by the time Monday rolls around, and by the time Tuesday, I guess, when you'll see us both on Running Point again, by the time Tuesday rolls around.
I'm just counting the games real quick.
No, you're good. I believe we have 15 16U and 13 18U for Saturday, Sunday. But if you count tonight too, 13 plus 15 plus the 5 tonight, so 18 plus 15, 33.
33 games between tonight and Sunday.
That's just Class B too. That's just Class B baseball.
Is it? Well, yeah, my travel team is off this week.
Well, that's not to mention the scrappers too that we're going to be having too by the time rolls around as well.
Right, Monday we'll have the scrappers game. So by the time we get back, there will have been 34 games on the network, which is amazing, but isn't our weekend record for the summer. So
no, it isn't.
That's
So
how much work we've been putting in for the summer. It's been a lot. I think our record is 38 games over a weekend.
Yeah, I mean we've they and the announcers too. All the credit goes to them. They've been putting in a ton of work too, and I mean we've seen nothing but a lot of green on our schedule too. So the weekend we got you really filled up, 33 Class B games, and then for the 4th of July we'll take a little break, go enjoy your cookout, go enjoy the afternoon. 7 o'clock you could tune in and hear Richard Giuliano call the Scrappers as they start a homestand, hopefully to start a winning streak now that they got that win against Trenton.
So I want to backtrack real quick before we end this show and go back to 18U on Saturday and see some of these matchups that we should be looking forward to. And I'm looking at it. I really like the matchup between Astros and Avalanche on Saturday on Scene 1 at, 5 o'clock?
It's going to be dependent on just seeing where Avalanche can kind of test the waters and see where they're at prior to that tournament.
The importance of that game is going to depend on what Avalanche does tonight, of course, against Athletics. But, if they win against Athletics, there's not as much pressure. But if they drop this game tonight, that game against Astro Falcons becomes a must-win.
I mean, 18U as well. I'll look at Saturday. I'm looking at that 5 o'clock.
The nightcap is Ballistic versus Astros for 18U. So Ballistic could be in a must-win situation if they don't get the win tonight in the game that is against someone below them in the standings. So two teams in that middle tier, 3 and 5 for those two that I said, that could have a must-win against Astros to keep themselves in the hunt.
Yeah, and of course, like we know, Nightline taking on Astro for Saturday at 5 o'clock. That's the determining game. They're 1-1 on the season. They both scored 14 runs against each other. This is for all the marbles, right? This is a huge game too for Nightline, trying to keep themselves in the standings. But what kind of momentum can they build too if they beat Astro and win the season series, or hey, even just have a good competitive game against Astro yet again?
Tomorrow, Nightline has Astro, and they also have Dura Edge. It just makes tonight's games really important for when I was looking at Avalanche and Ballistic, because if you don't win tonight, then that turns games tomorrow, really tough games tomorrow, into must-win games. Especially
when you got to play double headers. Like I said, if you got to win 2 games to win a spot or win your division, like we're seeing in 16U. Saturday is going to be an interesting night for 18U just because that's when we have a lot of double headers. But Sunday we got 10 games on the docket. Every team is playing a double header, so it's everyone that's in it. But the prospect that you might have to win 2 games if you're Avalanche or Whiting, or heck, even throw Creekside. If something wacky happens, that might be a case too. There's very, very real possibility that there's one of 3 teams that could come out atop the Livy division after Sunday night.
if someone stumbles tonight, then they're going to be in a tough. There are multiple teams that'll be in really tough spots tomorrow.
I mean, imagine too that those Saturday games that are all the more important as well for Creekside, because like these are the last games before those Sunday doubleheaders, and really for Creekside to have that opportunity going into it, they could take care of business by beating Whiting. They got to just, the only thing they need help with, if Ballistic can beat Avalanche, then everything becomes very interesting going into Sunday night, because Sunday for the doubleheader, Creekside would only be a game back in the loss column of both teams with 2 games left on the Sunday cap, and both Whiting and Avalanche would play each other, so one of them would have to drop.
Yeah, and then you look at 16U, who will be playing on 5 games on Saturday. Whiting versus Creekside, that's an important game. I mean, Creekside's right there. They're
Creekside, to win the Livy division, they need this win. If they lose this game, it's done. It's done for them. They are mathematically eliminated then, but they are still holding out hope of getting into this.
And then right behind Whiting is Avalanche, and on Saturday they will play Ballistic.
Like I said, really Creekside's riding on Ballistic if they can beat Avalanche, because then you just got to take care of business against Whiting. Then you're 1 back in the loss column to both Avalanche and Whiting. Those 2 have to play each other on Sunday, so one of them's going to drop. You just got to take care of business on Sunday and then hope for maybe a little bit of help.
And then, of course, that Sunday game is going to be all eyes on 16U when Whiting plays Avalanche. Basically, if they both take care of business, it will be for the top spot in the Livy division.
It will be, and then whoever loses that game, their only hope then is the nightcap, because that does happen in 5:30. So you're just hoping at 8:00 then, if whoever loses that game, that maybe that you can get some help and they'll drop the nightcap.
There's nightcap matchups for both teams. Avalanche have Prospects, and the Whiting has Ballistic.
Both teams very capable of surprising you with a victory, absolutely.
But they're both teams that are in the bottom half of the standings. Prospects last in Hernandez division, and
you got to be very careful too.
So you don't want to put the fate in those hands.
You don't. Well, it's dangerous that this game happens before, because you're going to be riding an emotional roller coaster. How hard is it going to be for the kids who win in this Avalanche game to not have those emotions ride too high, knowing that, all right, we still got to win one more to guarantee that we take care of business. Like, you could be riding an emotional roller coaster too high heading into that second matchup.
And you look at Creekside, if they are able to still be mathematically in it on Sunday, they have a game against the Athletics in the morning, and then they go up against Eagleware afterwards. So their Sunday in the standings, I mean, they have Eagleware, who had got their first win of the year, but, they've been struggling. And then they have the Athletics, who's, sitting in 4th place in the Hernandez division. So if they're still mathematically in it on Sunday, it's a favorable Sunday schedule for them.
Prospects and Ballistic, too, are 2 teams that are going to be watching that Avalanche and Whiting game very closely, because I guarantee you, whoever wins, they want to play spoiler. So whoever wins, whoever draws the winner of that game, whether it be Ballistic, whether it be Prospects, they're looking at that game and saying, all right, time to try to spoil a season real quick.
I'm really excited to see how it all goes.
We're going to have answers after this weekend. Come our next show, everything's going to be laid in front of us for 16U and 18U at Scene Park.
Yeah, and then we'll be right into the playoffs.
And that's always a wild thing too, when we start series and just seeing these 2 teams full strength go against each other. It's a great time.
Top 4 teams from 16U, the top 2 teams from each division. In the 18U, it's just straight up the top 4 teams.
And this is why, like we said, Creekside having a great season, but they're 12-6 right now, 2 games back of both Avalanche and Whiting. They need some help if they want to make a playoff.
They're probably sitting there thinking the split divisions isn't a good idea, because if they were, I want to make sure I'm right on this, but if they were in the Hernandez division, they'd be in 2nd place. And
obviously too, you're gonna say that, but over at 16U too, you got to feel like Nightlines over there loving life.
Yeah, okay.
And they have a chance to sneak right in there too. And I believe you face your division opponent too, so I believe they would be facing Astro too. coincidentally.
Well, the only two options are either doing that or seed them straight up with a record. So, like, if it were to end today, Whiting would be the 1, Avalanche would probably be the 2, Astro would be the 3, and then Nightline would be the 4.
Which means you could get. And hey, if
they did it that way, I don't know. If they did it that way, it'd be Nightline versus Whiting, Avalanche versus Astro.
I think the interesting thing is too, if you put Astro against either of those teams, we already know they're 0-2. Astro is against Whiting this season, but against Avalanche they're 1-1. So it's interesting, a 1-3 record against those teams in the Livy division, those top two.
So this is fun because in 16U you have a game that could absolutely be like the division championship, and then in 18U, like, the division championships have been won. The Astro Falcons haven't locked, and really second place is locked in. But you have 5 teams that are fighting for 2 playoff spots, and they're all right next to each other. So that's both divisions are fun right now, but for different reasons.
Both Nightline and Dura Edge are sitting at 9 and 10 right now, tied for second place in that division. And I think that's intriguing. And considering Nightline does have to play Astro 2 this season in the regular season, one of their final 3 games, but also you look at where Nightline has to their last game, 4:45 against Dura Edge on Scene 2. So that also might be a game on Scene 2 at 4:45, Nightline Dura Edge, where playoff implications are on the line. The winner can get a spot in the playoffs.
Crazy. It's going to be fun. We're excited for it all weekend long. What would you say, 33 total games on the network between tonight and Sunday?
33, yep, for Class B baseball. Yes, sir.
So there will be 33 on the network for Class B baseball, and that'll be it for the regular season. When we come back on Tuesday, it will be playoff time for Class B. It'll be championship time for Little League softball, and it will be the starting time for districts for Little League baseball on Wednesday. So a lot to look forward to when we come back on Tuesday. That's where we're going to take a little bit of a breath on the weekend. You know, we'll have the Monday to celebrate the 4th of July and our Independence Day and all the wonderful people that have decided to not take any off days for the military of the United States of America. They don't get any off days. So we're happy that we're able to take one to recognize them on Independence Day. So we'll do that, and we'll be back on Tuesday. 33 games on the network over the weekend, and that's going to be a fun time. That's a what? 3 days would be 24. It's 4 days. It's a 4-day break.
No,
it's not a 70-hour break. It's a 92-hour. Thank you for doing the math for me. I am a Georgia Tech fan, not a Georgia Tech alum. I'm not an engineer, and I do not do math well. 92-hour break. We'll be back on Monday from 12 to 2. Casual Sports Podcast will be coming up next from 2 to 3. Power Hour from 3 to 4. And then we have games on Scene Park tonight. 5 games tonight, but 33 throughout the weekend. As well as the Scrappers, if you want to listen to their broadcast tonight, they're still going to be linked on the Mahoning Valley Scrappers page. It just will be the away team's broadcast. So you can still find it on ysnlive.com. Richie Giuliano will be back with the call on Monday as they start into their home series between the 4th and the 10th.
We'll see you all on Tuesday, 12 to 2 here, folks.
Tuesday, 12 to 2. Casual Sports.